But no, Detroit Lions this weekend, big road game at Chicago. Lions favor what, 3 and a hook, I believe that number was.
I think it's sitting at 3 even.
3 even now.
Yeah.
So there's a little more faith in the business community in the Chicago Bears. You know, it's one of those things, D-Mac, where certainly, look, we know the resume, right? If the Bears are going to have success, that means Justin Fields is going to have success. If he doesn't, chances are the Bears won't. Sometimes it's complicated, sometimes it's simple. But, I mean, in the here and now, D-Mac, I just expect business as usual. It's a road game in the NFL. It's a division road game in the NFL. Underdog division home teams in the NFL do very, very well in the business community.
That's the bet. I mean, that's usually the bet.
Right.
The underdog home team and stuff like this. No, and I think that the fact that what plays into the Lions' benefit is that it was a close call at home a few weeks ago. So whatever they tried to do against Justin Fields early didn't work. They adjusted and were able to maintain it. Look for him to make those adjustments earlier. What you can't do is allow him to hit the deep ball a few times to DJ Moore and then run all around the field. So we know what we have to do and to contain him. It's whether or not, you know, we can execute. So I think that, you know, the one thing that what we did learn, Aaron Glenn learned that he's got to make certain adjustments earlier. I think that, you know, you might see a lot more man in certain situations than we did early on against them last time. And, you know, you wait and see. Confident because it's you know, don't you feel, and it's good teams feel this way, right? When you're a good team, you feel like, oh man, we got away with one. Wasn't our best game, but you know we made adjustments enough to win. We don't want to put ourselves behind the 8 ball enough. And plus, what they didn't do right and they adjusted to against Chicago bit them in the ass against Green Bay. So you have, if I'm not ready to play, this happens. If I can't go to the well, as we say, too many times. So you got to be ready to play. I like the fact that, you know, everybody's talking about weather and this and that. Jared Goff came out, quote, and said, hey, I played some of my best games on the road in bad weather. So I'm not worried.
No, and that's where they are, right? Like through all the talk about the 49ers, about how they're inhuman and they've been constructed in a lab and all that kind of stuff. They are 4-3 in the last 7 games. Like they are. That is the case. That is math. And look, I know that people haven't liked the style in which it's been done, which I think is absolutely wild. There is no style in this league. Winning is the style in this league. Period. End of story. Again, I'm on the record. I told you guys 2 weeks ago you can record these comments and just run them back every single week. Find a way to win.
Yep.
Find a way to win. They don't have to be hung in an art museum. They just got to be hung in the W column. That's it.
You know what? And that's the luxury of, you know, you talked about Armani mentioning Goff's perfect conditions. You mentioned, was he talking about Hutchinson or whatever? The beauty is they're still winning and they can still figure it out. So imagine if Hutch figures it out now for the rest of the year moving into the playoffs and you've already won with him not figuring it out for 7 games, and to the other people whose sacks are so important. So you're set up for success. This could be a big game. Hopefully Hutch builds off of that last play against Chicago at home, right? You know, strip safety on the last play of the game to win the game. Hopefully he can come out that way.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about the defense in the next segment because that's what everybody goes to, right? Like that's the trigger word now. And we'll discuss it. Anzalone is expected to be back. I think that is very, very large. Nicholas Earl, we need C.J. Gardner-Johnson and Houston back bad. I mean, they are 9-3 without him, you know. So, I mean, that is the case. But whatever, I digress. Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. Like, you can't dance with the devil every single week because you'll get burned. And they got burned on Thanksgiving. They got away with it against Chicago the first time. But remember that, right? I mean, they played a good road game against New Orleans. Like, people expect Lions get up 21-0. People expect, oh, that's it. They're just going to win 56-0. That's not the case, man. That's not real. That's not real life.
NFL's a one-score league.
It is by design.
It's going to get close, but they're finding a way to win. That's what good teams do. What do I always say? You're allowed to make a mistake, but you're not allowed to make the same mistake twice. And that's what exactly this this team is doing. They're not losing 2 games in a row, right? Which good teams, they don't lose 2 games in a row. So it might not be pretty when you're taking the microscope to it, play by play, but on the whole, come on, man. Let's be realistic here. Haven't been 9-3 since the 60s.
WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Burn says, everyone keeps talking about golf and bad weather, acting like Fields is going to be slinging it for 300 yards in the same weather. And Burn, that's where I am with it. Like, I know they have their struggles against the mobile quarterback. A lot of guys, a lot of teams in this league have struggles against a mobile quarterback. That's why they make a lot of money. I mean, it is the case. They do have to find a way.